Okay, welcome to another episode of. Hold on, actually, I'm gonna get some water. Do you want some water?
Yeah, sure. You guys got some questions?
Yeah, this is my buddy Ari Shield. Everyone, comedian Ari Shield.
How you doing, folks?
Yeah, and so yeah, this is a. Hold on, let me bang it one more time. Okay, this is Waiting for Death with Joe Camerota. And my guest today is Ari Shield. Yeah, so this is a philosophy podcast, and yeah, it's 7 questions. Anyone can answer these questions. Anyone. Question number 1: do you believe in God? And if yes, what is that? If no, why not? All that stuff.
First of all, I gotta say, "Waiting for Death," great fucking title. I love it.
Thank
It's gonna
you.
be good in the Joe Camerota podcasts. The gallery of different.
Yeah, that's kind of the idea, is to sort of keep the audience guessing as to what sort of version of Joe Camerota they're going to get, whether or not it's the comedy or the I think that's the goal with all my art, is to be the everyman in that way, to be the goofball at times, and then to just be the philosopher at times, because I love both. And so why not be the everyman if you can be the everyman? That's my take,
Yeah, I hear you. So God. I used to be really, really into God.
Really?
I grew up as like an Orthodox Jew, you know? So like that was a big thing. There's this song that I learned as a kid. It was, Hashem is here, Hashem is God in Hebrew.
Yeah.
Hashem is here, Hashem is there, Hashem is truly everywhere. So like, I honestly felt like God was in the room with me all the time, just like watching me like jerk off or whatever. Like,
Oh,
like,
wow.
Everything. He's like, it's like you say you want to be in like the Truman Show.
Yeah.
When I was a kid, I genuinely believed that there was this angry deity that was watching everything I did and got like mad when I fucked something up.
Wow.
Like if I accidentally turn a light switch on Saturday, then like there's something,
You know what's interesting? I grew up Catholic. I felt the same way. Christian, my housemate, he grew up Pentecostal, like right wing Pentecostal. You know what I mean? Like Orthodox Pentecostal.
Yeah.
I grew up Orthodox Catholic. You grew up Orthodox Jewish. That's a common experience. What you just described, just always feeling watched by God, like the Truman Show type of effect and stuff, dude. I'll tell you, man. I sometimes wonder, and I'll tell you why. I sometimes wonder if that might be true, and I'll tell you why. Because Facebook watches Facebook. You ever think about that? You know what I mean? What's Facebook?
Facebook watches Facebook.
Yeah, Instagram watches Instagram. So your Instagram page is your avatar. You know what I mean? That kind of is. It's like a digital version of you is your Instagram page, theoretically, right? We don't have full avatars yet, but that's kind of what it is, right? In a lot of ways, right? You're presenting yourself as that. And Instagram monitors Instagram. You know what I mean?
Instagram is God?
In that scenario,
To
Instagram
itself?
is the god of Instagram. You know what I mean?
Okay.
The team over at Instagram is theoretically the god of Instagram, whatever their standards and practices are and stuff. So if this is all a video game of sorts, which is really what Instagram is it's a video game. If you really want to get into the nuts and bolts.
That's
of
a good
right?
point. I never thought of it like that.
It's a video game. So if this is a video game, then there's some corporate thing in someplace else that watches the video game. Isn't that weird to think about?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, it's
right?
interesting of God. I think it's like Joe is the God of Joe then.
Yeah, or the game of Joe, whatever the
game of Joe.
Whatever, or the game of Ari, and it's all part of this same video game eco world. You know what I mean? Like this giant World of Warcraft.
That'd be a hilarious
but it's like
video
the team
game.
of
The game of Joe. It's just like you and your life.
Yeah,
It's like, all right, go to an open mic, make a podcast.
Yeah, maybe each of our games are so personalized, but it's probably more like a World of Warcraft thing, right? Like Instagram, you know what I mean? Where my Instagram page is the game of Joe, but then Instagram is the game of Instagram, right? You know what I mean? And so Instagram is watching both Instagram and Instagram Joe. Both. You know what I mean?
I'm a little lost, not gonna lie, but
So Instagram,
I get what you're saying.
Yeah, standards and practices. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but God's not real. Is the
You don't think so?
I mean, it depends what you mean by God. I think the God that was created by within religion, that God isn't real. I think obviously there's higher powers that we don't understand.
Yeah.
But when you take a religion, you say, we have a specific insight into this power, and we were given something by this power.
Yeah, that's truly weird.
That's I'm
so
like,
weird.
that's not. It's not. That's when I say I'm like an atheist. I mean, I'm like an atheist about that.
Yeah,
like I have zero
Every
doubts in my
religion
head.
does that too.
Yeah.
Every religion is like, it's like, we're awesome. Everyone else sucks. Literally every religion. That's the pitch. That's how they get you in the door. Isn't that wild, dude? It is creepy. Every religion does it. Every religion.
They say
that's the only way.
Everybody else is not good.
Every religion, that's their pitch. Think about
Yeah.
it. If anybody who tries to get you to join their religion, they're like, no, we're on the winning team, right? You know what I mean? That's like literally the pitch every single solitary time. Whether they're trying to get you to either join or stay, or come back. You know what I mean?
These Christian
One or the
missionaries,
other. It's really like it's we're on the winning team. You know what I mean?
Dude, these Christian missionaries are out there.
Yeah.
They've been coming up to me. They've been giving me leaflets and shit.
Everybody.
know?
Christian missionaries, Jewish missionaries, Muslim missionaries, they exist everywhere, man.
Well, the Jewish ones, they're not
Hindu.
They're not going. They're not trying to bring non-Jews in. They're just
trying to get Jews back.
Yeah.
They're just trying to,
and they're so much more aggressive about it than any.
Yeah, they're trying to get
any
Jews
other
back.
kind of
But
missionaries.
still, that's still evangelical work. You know,
100%.
they're still out there doing that. Yeah, and the pitch is always, no matter what religion you are, the pitch is like, we're on the winning team. You know what I mean? And that is like that. You're right. It's creepy. It's creepy. Humans do it though. You can't stop it, because even if people like me and you are like, that's stupid. You know what I mean? Majority of people will still do it. The majority of people will seek out a situation where they feel they're on the winning team. You know what I mean?
I mean, you know, I think I could be sold on a religion. You know,
Okay, you think
I'm
so?
not like, yeah, for sure. Like if it, I don't know what it would need to have.
Okay.
I don't know. Like probably not one of like the actual. It would probably be like a made up one.
Yeah.
You know, like I could see myself getting sold on like Scientology. You know,
You can see yourself believing a paradigm is the one true paradigm.
no, I would never. But like, I don't think I could be sold on actually believing a religion. But I could be sold on like, hey, hang out with us. Just pretend like you believe this, and your life will be better. I would believe that. I could be sold on that. You know what I mean?
Joseph Campbell, the famous philosopher, was a Catholic agnostic. That's what he said, which is just like, he just said he doesn't believe in Catholicism. He's just like, I just like these people. You know what I mean? I like this system. I like these prayers. You know what I mean? Like, that was his idea. He just thought it was like the best of the religions in his mind, basically, in the sense, I don't know if that's true. You know what I mean? This is just Joseph Campbell, right? But that was his idea, was like, I'm not, even though I'm an agnostic.
This is different than the soup guy, right?
What?
He wasn't also the soup guy?
No.
Okay.
No, he wrote that book, The Hero with a Thousand Faces, that they based like Star Wars and all that shit off of. And so,
Oh, sick.
Yeah. So it's this famous book.
Star Wars based on Dune.
Well, there's this book called The Hero with a Thousand Faces, which is written by this guy named Joseph Campbell, and the idea is that it's this thing called the hero's journey. It's this philosophy called the hero's journey, which is that every story is essentially the same story. Every story ever is essentially the same story. The story of Gilgamesh, Moses, Christ, you know, Buddha, any story, you can break it down to this like structure basically. And so the idea is there's one story, you know what I mean? Stories are always the same. It's you got a hero, it's a reluctant hero. The hero either puts themselves into exile or they get thrown into exile. Then God or some outside force calls the hero out of exile to then go and save the day. You know what I mean?
Sounds like Moses.
Christ, Moses, yeah. Gilgamesh, all of it. Noah, you know what I mean? Just like go away and build the boat. You know what I mean? Like in order to then come back and save the day. You know what I mean? So that's like, Christ was in the desert for 40 days. The whole story happens over and over. But that's what Star Wars is. Star Wars is that story. You know, the guys, literally the person is in the desert, and then like, you know, whoever comes, I think, is it Obi-Wan? I haven't seen it, but
you haven't seen Star Wars?
But I guess no, because I went to USC. They're like, yeah, it's this story. It's all the same story.
Wait, Joe, have you not seen Star Wars?
What?
Are you serious?
I swear to God, I've never seen.
You're like a movie guy.
I don't like. I was actually. It's funny. I was talking about this with the last guest of the podcast. I don't like Star Wars or like Lord of the Rings or any of that shit.
You don't like? Have you seen Lord of the Rings?
Yeah, I don't like it.
You don't like Lord of the Rings?
I don't like it. I've seen all those, and those are
damn.
It's terrible. I don't like. I like political science, and it just happens. I don't like political science in space. or political science in a fantasy world. I just don't, you know what I mean? I'm just like, that's creepy. Political science in Narnia. Like, why? Why am I, you know what I mean?
Because it's delightful.
It's literally political science. So I'm like, just, it happens in the real world. Just literally make political science movies. That's all you're making.
I feel like if you stopped listening to The Economist, you'd be able to enjoy Star Wars.
Maybe, right? Because it is like explaining that shit in like a space format. And you're like, ugh. For me, I'm just like, this is just stupid, man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Especially because, too, there's a movie called Children of Men. I actually saw it again recently. But it's all about how in the movie Children of Men, I love this movie, the Empire is bad, the rebels are bad, and there's like this individual that's great. You know what I mean? And it's two individuals helping each other in the movie. It's called Alfonso Cuarón. He made Gravity.
Okay.
He also made this movie called Children of Men. And yeah, it's fantastic. It's you have to watch the movie. I won't ruin it for you. I won't ruin even the plot because the plot is like a big twist in the movie. It's one of the greatest movies ever made. Like most people who review movies, when you ask them for their top 10 list, Children of Men would usually be on it. Like people like Roger Ebert style critics and stuff. Okay. They always put Children of Men on. Julianne Moore, Michael Caine, Clive Owen. These are the people who are in it and stuff. It's a dystopian sci-fi story. Not like Star Wars though. It's not fantasy. You know what I mean? It just takes place in 2027 but it was made in 2007. You know what I mean? It takes place in 2027 in England. So it's not a futuristic world because things didn't advance that much in that time period. Okay. There's a little of that, you know what I mean, where they imagine a couple of things, but it's not, you know, it's just like really advanced iPods, you know what I mean? Right. You know, shit like that, right? You know what I mean? Stuff like that. It's very little advancement that way. But yeah, it's about how
you're gonna eat. I've got all this fresh food in my fridge. I'm like, dude, what if everything goes to shit tomorrow and I can't get food, you know? Gotta start stocking up on like, I don't know.
That would be funny if Noah was just like a doomsday prepper, but they only wrote about the ark because that was the one that came true. Do you get what I'm saying? Yeah. Like he was also building an underground bunker, but they just don't record that because, you know what I mean? He was just like, it's like Alex Jones. Like they're like, can you believe he was correct on these 3 or 4 things? Yes, I can, because the guy made 8,000 guesses. And so there's a certain point where it's like, dude, if you're literally yelling guesses on, if you're reading UN reports daily, you're like literally reading all of them like daily, you know what I mean? So you know all the characters in the game and you're reading hypothetical worries that other people have and it's all concocting, and then you run a show where you're spewing the combinations of the ideas for 5 hours every single week for 20-something years. Yeah, you're Nostradamus at that point. Like, of course you are. You know,
dude,
what I mean?
Can you imagine how much fun it would be to be Alex Jones?
You're the Simpsons at that point. You're gonna get a few things correct just because, like, that's kind of how the mind works, right? Like, we low-key all can kind of imagine where the fuck we're going, dude. Like, they keep on inventing this stuff from Star Trek, so, like, we kind of know, you know what I mean? So, if you put a fat guy in front of a mic yelling guesses as a job for 5 hours a week, you know, like,
I think more than that. It's only 5 hours a week.
Probably his shows like 5 hours or something, or like 3 hours or something like that.
I thought it was like 5 hours every day or something.
Probably.
I don't know.
It probably even is literally that.
He puts out a lot of content.
It's probably like Howard Stern in that way, where it's just like, I mean, come on, how many probably guesses about Hollywood was Howard Stern right about if you go back? You know what I mean? Probably. Does that make him Nostradamus? No. He's just reading all these Hollywood articles every day, talking to all these people all the time. And so, like, you know, this was a guy who was searching out like everyone in every secret society ever, like interviewing them and then putting that all in his mind every day and then making guesses on top of that. You know what, man? For every correct thing he had, he also called kids who died in Connecticut false. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying?
That's the only one I believe personally.
It's like,
I don't believe in dead kids. I've never seen one.
It's like he was so wrong about so many things. You know what I mean?
Of course.
And so it's like,
but he's having so much fun, dude. He's just like, you know, reading there's no discernment over what information he's gonna yell at America. And he just is just the craziest thing he can find and just yells it. You know?
So true, dude.
That'd be sick. True. I would love to be Alex Jones. You know, to be able to just have no like sense of reality, you know?
Yeah. He well, it's like
looks like a blast.
it's like it is the everything, right? He is like, people are like, is he psychic? And it's like, no, he is a mystic. He does just embrace the everything like we're talking about. And it just all, but like you said, he's so out of touch with actual reality. It's just he's living in the fantasy world based on all the things he reads. And so every once in a while he just yells out the truth that other people aren't seeing because it's just all combining in his head. But you're right, he is living inside of his head in that way, right?
Yeah. Hey, I got my own theories that everyone tells me is wrong, but I might be right. I keep yelling them, you know?
Yeah.
I think Alec Baldwin did it on purpose. I'm serious. Dude, look, you watch his interviews afterwards, the first thing he fucking says is, this might be the last time anybody uses a gun in a movie. He says that, and I don't know, listen, the whole thing's written like an Agatha Christie novel. It's like, who done it? This guy put the bullet in, this guy gave him the gun. I don't know if you had a mission.
So you think he's like a patsy for like gun control in that way?
Kind of.
And
my theory is
the gun industry in the movie, because they do use real guns like that, like you're saying.
My theory is that the mastermind behind the whole thing was the girl who got shot. And I think she had cancer or something. She was gonna die anyway. She's like, I want my life to mean something, but let me get Alec Baldwin to murder me.
That's wild, dude.
And he's the only guy crazy enough to do it. You know,
that's some wild Illuminati propaganda.
It's probably not true. It's definitely not true. But also, it's not impossible.
Yeah, fair enough.
It's not impossible. Yeah.
Yeah. You're right, dude. And that's the thing, man. If you're Alex Jones and you're yelling shit like you just said, for like 5 hours a day, you know what I mean? Like every once in a while, like, you know, bingo. You know what 100%. I mean? Isn't that wild?
Yeah.
Because it's like because truth is always stranger than fiction in that way, right? Yeah. So like if you just keep on writing the fiction in your head, eventually just the truth is going to come out if you're doing that with the world.
Yeah.
5 hours a day. Yeah. It's wild.
That'd be sick.
Yeah. Let me see how much time. Oh no, keep on going. Hold on. Let me just see where we're at.
I want this to be the longest episode of the Joe Camerota podcasts. All right. I'm going for 2 hours there. No, you said you got to live. You can't do that long. That's how I don't measure a podcast by how good the content is, like how many views or whatever. I think the longer the podcast, inherently the better. Let's do 5 hours, Joe.
I don't have it in me.
You know, 5 hours.
I don't have it in me for the editing. I really don't.
Oh, that's right. Oh, you actually put work into it though, so like it makes sense that like, you know, you want to keep it manageable. I don't do any shit. I record it and then spit it out there.
No, I'm trying to win that viral game.
Yeah, no, the way you're doing it is smart. That's the way I should be doing it. You know,
the follow through. Now, next question. Do you believe in the devil? Yes or no? And what is that?
That's a good question.
Or if no, why not?
Yeah, as a metaphor for sure.
Okay.
Just like all stuff that's, but also the thing is like, I don't know, like what's real? I guess like you could say like tobacco is bad.
Yeah.
That's, you know,
that's
an inherent bad. I think there's nothing good about smoking tobacco, you know, because that's the thing, everything that people say is bad. Like, I don't know, like sex or like alcohol or like all, I don't know, or murder. I guess murder is, I think
murder is the only one out of that group that people say is bad, like objectively.
No, it's saying like, but I
think tobacco, alcohol, and sex, I don't think are objectively evil things.
But these are all things that people refer to as the devil.
You
know, these are all things that could be the devil, is what I'm saying.
In extreme use, or
like anything
in extreme or deviant use.
Yeah, anything that could be seen as a sin by anybody could be a devil, you know?
Okay.
Or like the devil is just the need or the want to do these things that are maybe if you were perfectly conscious and looking out for your future self, you wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
But it's like you're you know.
Okay.
I don't know.
All right, so you think of it as a metaphor. So you don't think there's like a conscious, there's like a evil,
like a guy with a pitchfork?
No, or just like an evil consciousness out there. You know what I mean?
What do you mean?
Well, just like a consciousness of pure evil.
Are you trying to get me to turn against Israel? Is that what's happening here? Trying to get me talking against my Zionist brethren?
No, definitely not. But just like an objective sort of. I guess, do you think there's an intelligence to evil? I guess you would say is an interesting way to put it, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yes or no? There's no.
Is there an intelligence to evil?
In the sense of like, is there like a sort of I guess you would say a tempter that way. You know what I mean? Does like that sort of intelligence exist where it is like a disease? You know what I mean? Like an intelligent sort of like the way like a fungus is alive, basically. You know what I mean? Like, do extremes have that consciousness, like good and evil? You know what I mean?
I don't understand the question.
Well, the way they say just like, is the
Yeah.
earth conscious? You know what I mean? You know, do things have a sort of consciousness to them? Like,
How do we define consciousness?
Purpose.
Purpose.
Kind of, it knows what it's doing, basically, in the sense of like you know, I don't know. That's like
So
kind
we're
of what they say.
we're assuming
the devil is sort
people
of
have consciousness, right? That's
Yeah.
our base assumption.
Yeah.
So you and I obviously have consciousness.
yeah.
So you're saying, is there
Is there like in this shared consciousness of all the world, is there a consciousness of pure evil that sort of goes around tempting people? Is the idea. You know what I mean? Like, is there intelligence to that? Or is this in order to cause the evil? Or is, you know what I'm saying? You know what I mean?
okay?
That's what the devil would be, right? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's obviously not a guy with a pitchfork. You know
Well,
what
I
mean?
think
It's-
that-
if it's a spirit, then it kind of is just like
Well,
that.
evil
It's
is
like it's like
evil is an
energy.
idea,
Okay.
and it's a word that people use to describe certain actions.
Okay.
But it's every person is doing those things.
Got it.
But there's like I guess there's forces that influence them, but all those forces are somewhat internal.
Okay.
Like anything that you could call evil, like like the knife isn't evil. The person that used it to stab somebody is evil.
Yeah. Okay.
But then I
Alright.
guess then you get into like the nuclear bomb,
Yeah.
which has no purpose other than to be evil.
Yeah, kind of.
So then maybe
Well, I mean, nuclear energy. That's like on the way to a nuclear bomb, isn't it?
well that's
like the whole
different though.
thing.
That's nuclear. That's like a power. You're talking about like a power plant.
It's
to
kind
get
of funny
people-
how we were talking about before how like things are bad in extremes, like alcohol and stuff.
Yeah.
Nuclear bomb is literally the extreme of just nuclear energy, right?
I suppose so,
Isn't
but it's
that kind
also
of-
put into a missile.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
You know,
it's kind of it's
anything-
weaponized. Yeah.
Anything you put into a missile, that's a weapon.
Yeah.
You can
yeah.
put knives
Yeah.
into a missile. You know. You
So
could
I guess if you drink way too much alcohol, it's a missile. It's a weapon of destruction.
Yeah, or you
know
could
what I mean?
fill a
Yeah,
rocket
yeah.
with whiskey, then it'll
Yeah.
still hurt if you hit someone in the head. You know, like
Yeah.
might not blow up a city, but it'll still kill someone.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Anything in extremes can become a weapon of destruction. Okay. Next up, what do you think happens after you die?
You're just dead. I don't know.
You don't think anything happens?
It's like you go to sleep.
Okay. Yeah,
You know?
fair enough. Do you think you dream? Do you think you have an experience afterwards?
No.
No. Just,
Like why? Because I don't always necessarily have like real like dreams when I sleep.
okay.
So why would I now be having dreams all the time
Fair enough.
when I'm
right?
dead? You know?
Yeah, that might be true.
Because it's like I feel like when you're dreaming, that's a part of your body still being conscious and active, even though
Got
you're
it.
lying down, not moving.
Fair enough.
Whereas, and you can see brain activity.
Yeah, it's a good assessment, actually.
Yeah.
That is. Yeah. So dream. I mean, it's just being alive, really. And
Yeah.
So being dead would probably be a dreamless sleep, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. That's a fair answer, right? All right. Cool. So
Wait, what about you? You haven't answered any of these questions.
I don't really answer. That's,
You just ask the
yeah.
questions,
'Cause
you
I
don't
really
answer
know.
'em?
I don't know the answers myself. That's
Okay.
that's the whole point. I have no idea. I have
Okay.
no idea. You have theories, but that's about it. But I want to hear other people's theories because
Yeah.
my theories changed by other people's theories. Basically, it was kind of nice.
Okay.
You know what I mean? It's me learning in that way. Have you ever experienced the miraculous or the supernatural?
Ooh. Okay. I've definitely had moments where I've experienced something where I convinced myself that it was supernatural.
Okay.
Where because I was trained to interpret certain types of coincidences.
Yeah.
As
magical thinking, basically.
Yeah, like you know what it was?
I do that, like numerology and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I remember when I was studying in Israel, I was probably like 18, right? I was after high school, and I had roommates in this dorm,
Okay.
and one of them forgot a charging brick for his phone, right, to plug
Yeah.
into the wall. I happened to have an extra one that I thought to bring from home, and I viewed that moment, or I tried to make that moment into like this was God placing me in this moment to give this
Yeah.
guy the
Yeah.
thing that a lot of people have extras of,
Yeah.
and it's like it's not an expensive. It's not like it's such an easy coincidence to happen, but I was like, oh my God, what are the chances?
Yeah.
This must be God directly interfering in my life,
What?
And I remember I said that at like, cause everybody was going around we were like doing like like a tish. It's like you just hang out and like eat and drink with your rabbi or whatever. And everybody was like having these like mystical things they were saying. I was like, I wanted a thing. I wanted to show that I believe. So I said that story, but like I just made it up, you know?
Yeah.
I wanted to be part of that group.
It definitely is magical thinking. But you know what I like? I don't believe personally. I'm an occultist personally. That's how I identify it. And it's kind of funny because occultism doesn't believe in anything, but they believe that just magical thinking is fun. It's kind of like what occultism is, right? It's like get involved, just get involved. You know what I mean? Chaos magic, that's what it is. You kind of just study all the different religions and you kind of make up your own religion based on, but you know it's wrong, like inherently. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But you're just doing it just for the sake of creating a paradigm, just to
100%.
kind of work the world and everything like that. So,
I think flat Earth is kind of like that. I think these people, they know.
Yeah, right.
They know.
Yeah, it's just a fun story. It's a fun story.
Super fun. I would hang out with them.
It's a fun way to paradigm to live your life by, to kind of look for yourself to be correct.
I would want to run around yelling at people, arguing, you know, learn all their talking points, and then just try to dunk on people who, you know, aren't as well prepared, you know?
Yeah, I think, it's, occultism is, you organize your own imagination. That's the rule of it. You organize your own imagination. So you look at religions and paradigms and kind of all the paradigms of the world you look at as imaginary, societal paradigms, religious paradigms, everything. And then you go, okay, well, I'm just going to pick what I like. You know what I mean? And when I grew up as a Catholic, they used to call them cafeteria Catholics.
Yeah.
Okay? Yeah, but it's like the ultimate in cafeteria Catholicism. You're not even a Catholic anymore. You're just a cafeteria spiritualist. You know? Like, that's what occultism is. You just go, I like everything, and I'll kind of take the good of all and fashion my own thing. And I know mine is inherently wrong, but it's no less wrong than anybody else's. You know what I mean? The idea of occultism is everyone's their own Abraham. Everyone just, and they don't look for converts. It's kind of weird, isn't it? You know what I mean? Like, but that's the thing they all have in common, right? Is like we're all our own Abrahams, and we don't look for converts. And we share our ideas, but like we kind of
drives me insane.
Isn't that wild?
It drives me insane when people do that with religion, because like, at least for me growing up, it was like a thing where I felt like it's like you can't choose. This is God. If you really believe that this God gave you this religion, then how can you be like, oh, I don't want to do that? The creator of the universe is like, you have to do this.
I very much figured that out early on when I realized I grew up Catholic, and I realized something, which is if you asked every person in church to do a book report on what it means to be Catholic, you would get all different book reports. And I realized that. I'm like, that's interesting. That means it's inherently wrong because it's different for everybody. Everyone has their own Catholicism at the end of the day. Mm-hmm. And so I was like, listen, if at the end of the day you're forced to make up your own shit anyway, you know what I mean? And you know, take some and leave others and everything like that. It's like, why wouldn't you just leave and do that? Why don't you just leave this place and just go out into the world and meet all the options and then just do that? If you're going to do that anyway, why do it within a confined space? Because you're right. People, no matter where you go, even in Orthodox spaces, I always say to my mom, you know, she's like super Catholic. My mom, like super Orthodox Catholic. I always say to her, man, you got a really hungry God. And that's the truth, right? And she picked that really hungry God. You know what I mean? You know, everyone kind of...
I mean, he always needs money for food?
He always just needs prayers. He always needs money. He always needs everything, this God. He or she or whatever always needs everything. And my mom's God is way hungrier than my God. And that's really what Orthodoxy is in any religion. You know what I mean? You know, Orthodox Muslims, you know, tragically, some of them blow themselves up. You know what I mean? That's a very hungry God. Yeah. You know what I mean? That's a very hungry God. If your God is demanding that you strap a bomb to yourself and walk into a building, that's a very hungry God. And so I
mean, almost none of them do that.
Almost none of them do that. It's very rare. But that's like Orthodox. Orthodox anything becomes violent. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Orthodox Waco, Texas, man. That's Orthodox Christianity in an extreme. You know, stockpiling weapons and stuff. So you know, this isn't, you know, it's not picking on Muslims. It's truly something that all Orthodox. I'm sure Israel totally combats Orthodox sects of Judaism that are stockpiling weapons. You know they do. You know what I mean? Yeah, of course. And they know about them. And they don't let them get big. Same way the United States keeps track of just every Orthodox religious group.
Dude,
you know?
the ultra Orthodox Jews, the Haredim of Israel, are the most unhinged people I've ever met in my life.
And,
Like,
I'm sure Israel keeps tabs on them.
Dude,
you know what I mean?
insane. I was at my cousins are like in that community.
Ultra Orthodox thing is going to get wild and gets weird. You know what I mean? Like it's brainwashing.
Yeah, dude. My cousins are like in that community in Israel, and I was at their house, and they were going off. There was a new prime minister of Israel, who wanted to make people go into the army, like the religious Jews.
Yeah,
he wanted to make them serve or like do some sort of service for the country, and they were going off about how he's worse than Hitler.
Oh, I knew because Orthodox Jews don't have to go into the army.
Exactly.
Right?
But they were claiming he's worse than Hitler because Hitler only wanted to destroy us physically. This guy wants to destroy us spiritually.
Wow.
Can you imagine? And like really believing that. And they're not joking. They're not like saying that ironically. They genuinely have that. And if they have that much hate for the people within their own country, for like their own kind, it's, I don't know.
Ultra Orthodox people,
they scare me. Like they're nice kind of, but to me, but like it's, I don't know, dude.
Ultra Orthodox people are people that don't want to, of any kind, are people that don't want to go out into the world. They want the safety that the rules give them. And even though it will make them miserable, because I know I was more miserable in that world. And I'm not happy, but I'm unhappy. And I was miserable in that world. Does this make sense? You know what I mean? And like, that's the thing that I think I didn't wake up to that till I left. Because I used to believe crazy shit. You know what I mean? I grew up right-wing Catholic.
What was the craziest thing you used to believe?
Oh, I mean, Catholics just believe that the Eucharist is the body and blood of Christ. You know what I mean? They believe that. They believe They believe that
what
piece
does
of
that
bread
mean
is
that you believe that. Because obviously it's a fucking cracker. Like
exactly, but they believe that on some metaphysical plane that you cannot see, it's not a cracker, and it is actually truly a cracker. It was just a cracker.
Yeah.
But now it's actually the body of Christ, and that reality exists on a metaphysical plane.
When does it become the body of Christ?
When the priest does the blessing, which is the transubstantiation of the Eucharist, which I always think is so funny because because Catholics, right-wing Catholics, are always against trans people, and I'm like, you believe in the transubstantiation? Like the word trans is in there, you know what I mean? Like, which is so funny to me because I'm like, you literally believe a piece of bread is the body of Christ, but you don't believe that a person can be born with the brain of a man and the body of a woman, or vice versa. You know what I mean?
It's
like,
a stretch to call it bread.
It's like
it's barely. It's not even food.
It's unleavened bread. It's a cracker. And
no, dude, unleavened bread. That's like matzah. That at least has some taste.
It's basically theoretically supposed to be matzah of sorts.
Yeah.
It's like a cracker, but
matzah. I think matzah
has
sucks, and matzah is way better than the.
It has more texture and stuff like that. But the whole thing, 100%.
It also doesn't have a little cross in the middle, a little plus sign.
Yeah.
You know?
So theoretically, the first time it was matzah. The first the Last Supper, which was the first mass, the first Eucharist, that was just matzah. Or whatever they would have used as unleavened bread at that time. Maybe it was matzah, but unleavened bread, right? So now they mass produce this cracker form of unleavened bread for Catholics and really for tons of religions, basically. But certain Protestant religions believe it's symbolic, and most Protestant religions believe it's symbolic. Most of them don't believe it's the actual body of Christ. Anglicans do. The Church of England does. And Catholics do. Those two. They just believe it's a wild thing. It's a weird and wild belief. When you actually look at it as an outsider, you're like, that's just objectively crazy, dude.
Yeah.
That's objectively actual crazy talk. And it's creepy crazy talk. Dude. You know what it is, man? I think we talked about it on your podcast. It's a human sacrifice cult.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like the way in Apocalypto how the guy rips the heart out and drinks the blood of the sacrifice, this warrior that he was sacrificing. It's you're drinking
I still
the
need to
blood
watch
of Christ.
that, by the way.
Yeah,
I didn't forget, though. I remember you said I'm going to watch it.
It's a great movie. It really is, Apocalypto. I'm Mel Gibson, not a sane person in a lot of ways, but the movie itself is Rambo, you know what I mean, in that way. But it is that idea
best actors are the most unhinged people.
for some reason, certain people are attracted to cannibal cults. That's like a thing throughout history, right? And Catholicism is this thing that is a cannibal cult. I mean, that is actually a thing that it has existed for forever, cannibal cults. And so it's an imaginary cannibal cult in that way.
What would it take to get you to eat a person?
Starvation, probably.
Yeah, same. I would do it if
Yeah.
like I needed
if
to
I
stay
had
alive.
to,
Yeah,
of course. If I had to stay alive, I would do it.
yeah. I wouldn't be happy.
Yeah, but
I wouldn't be like smiling, like finally, finally an excuse.
But yeah, like we talked about, it's the doubling down on the no longer needing human sacrifice. We talked about that in your podcast. The doubling down on no longer. Catholicism doubles down on the story of Abraham and Isaac. And the don't sacrifice humans. You know what I mean? So now it's as Abraham was going to sacrifice Isaac, but then that was like the prequel to God actually sacrificing his son.
What if you had
Christ,
what if you had that voice in your head? Not just the Noah build a boat. What if you had to go kill your son on a mountain?
Well, that's why religions made up these stories in order to stop people from doing that, because people would have those voices. They literally would get those voices in their heads, and they would go and kill their family members in order to appease the gods. True. Yeah. Hold on.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. So,
I do not remember what we were talking about. It's been like 2 hours.
Yeah, right. The next thing is, next question. Do you believe in love?
Ooh, yeah, of course.
You do?
Well, it depends. Well, what does it mean to believe in love? Love is like it's clearly a force. Like somebody loves something, or some people do things for love. You know?
Okay.
What does it mean? Like,
yeah, that's the question. What does it mean?
Yeah, of course. All you need is love, baby.
Okay, so yeah, that's something that I've come to realize about that question is people tend to, the best definitions, which is kind of just what you said, is it's the kind of the force that propels things.
Yeah.
You know,
exactly.
If you love something or if you love someone, it kind of propels it. So that's interesting. All right, cool.
I don't think love is always good though.
Fair enough. Explain.
I think love actually can be very much a force for bad. You know, because if you love someone or something so much to the point where you're like, I'm gonna go do bad things to protect this person or this whatever, you know.
Gotcha.
And you might be doing something that's bad, but you're doing it out of love.
It's interesting. Wow. So love can beat the propelling of evil.
100%. I think it always is. Always is.
That's interesting.
And inherently is, because someone's doing evil because they love something, because they love themselves and their urges, whatever it is they need to do, more than they love the victim of whatever it is.
Yeah. That's true, actually.
I feel so wise.
Yeah, they have an appreciation of their urges more so than they do of peace.
Yeah.
Oh, Christian's home.
Yeah, do you believe in God, Christian?
Yeah, Christian's already done the podcast.
Okay. What did he say? Did he believe in God?
Yeah. Okay. Well, no, actually, I don't think he didn't. He didn't believe in God, but he did believe in love. Yes.
He did not believe in love.
Did believe in love.
Okay.
Did not believe in God. So same as you. You know what I mean? In the sense of like
smart guy.
Agnostic, but believes in love in that way. Similar to most people. Most people kind of have that sort of take and that attitude of sorts of like agnosticism, but yet a belief in love, which seems to make sense, right? I mean, no, I think Christians say God is love. That's what he said. Yeah. Yeah,
God is love.
Yeah, so God is that force, that propellant, everything like that.
Sounds like some mumbo jumbo to me.
No, it does make sense when you think about it.
Yeah.
So next question.
Yeah.
What is, do you believe in hate? Do you think hate has
of course.
A place?
Of course.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, that's interesting because it makes sense in your philosophy in the sense that you said love can do evil things in a weird way, like hating evil can be good.
Yeah.
You know, that's kind of an interesting thing to think about. But yeah, it does all kind of come full circle, oddly enough. You know what I mean? Yeah. There can be good hate and bad love.
100%.
That's wild.
100%.
There can be good hate. There can be bad love.
Well, what do you mean by good hate? What would be good
Well, you hate evil. You know what I mean? If you hate,
I guess.
If you're in Nazi Germany and you hate Nazis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
you hate bad things that are happening. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely believe certain things like that because it's like you can't say things are all one thing like that, right? Like you can of course it's proper to hate evil. It's good to lie in order to save. Certain things of that nature. All these paradoxes
It's okay.
exist.
Whichever one. I know what you're saying.
Yeah. That's one of the because growing up, Catholicism always said that you can't lie no matter what. That's like a strict rule in Catholicism. There was this philosopher, who was the head of philosophy at Boston College, one of the heads of philosophy at Boston College. His name is Peter Kreeft, and he said that's not true. You can lie if people do not deserve the truth. So, and the example he gave was if you're sheltering Jewish people in Nazi Germany, and Nazis come and say, "Hey, are you sheltering Jewish people?" and you say no. And the reason it's 100% okay is because the Nazis don't deserve the truth. They don't deserve the truth because they're going to use it for evil.
100%. Yeah, if you're bringing friends to a comedy show and they're charging tickets, your friend is a comedian. It's lying for the greater good,
That's a much more toned down version, but truly that does fall to the same realm. Yes, 100%. Oh yeah, he's a comedian, yeah. And then so funny.
And sometimes they actually do stand up, but I would never say they're a comedian unless they
unless like it's getting
get someone out of it,
for free, that way. Okay, so
it's amazing just the amount of confidence you have when you walk into one of these places. Just get in,
Yeah, if you're a comedian, you get disillusioned to these places, and you're just like, I'm here to use the bathroom.
Yeah, right. Imagine how many buildings there are that if you just had enough confidence, walked in like you belonged there, you could just become the president of a company.
That's true. That's
just
true.
By walking in with confidence.
That is, and there are con artists who do that. That has happened in history, man. There are people who literally just walk in and act like they are the person in charge. And there's that Michael J. Fox movie, The Secret of My Success, I think is the name of it. So yeah. So last question.
Trying to not make a Parkinson's joke.
Right. Last question. What is enough for you? What will be enough for you?
Like in life?
Yeah. Well, it's a very vague question on purpose in that way. What will be enough for
you? To not worry about anything.
To not worry about anything.
To not have worries.
Okay.
And that's like that's impossible. You're always going to have something, that you're worrying about.
Yeah. So
and that's like all people who live.
So enough might be impossible.
It is impossible.
Yeah.
To truly have enough to really just not be. But that's also the nature of being a person is to always be,
You're always seeking.
Yeah.
Totally.
To always either you're, a lot of people combat that by making a lot of money. It's like I make as much money as possible, so they'll always have enough,
Yeah.
But then you maybe neglect other areas of your life.
Yeah, it's true.
There's but that's one way to just be like, all right, whatever, any problem that comes up, I can just throw money at it.
Yeah, that's one way to actuate yourself to a plateau where you get the illusion of enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, other people do.
But that's never. There's no such thing. There's my dad. My dad's 92 years old, right? He doesn't. He's fine. He has enough money until however long he lives. He's fine.
Yeah,
but he's always watching the stock market. He's always sitting up. That's how he's spending his time. Is watching the stock market, worrying about the stocks, and be like, oh no, like what's this gonna do? Should I go in here? Should I go in that? It's like,
it's not like he needs
enjoy
to afford,
yourself.
He doesn't need to afford Beyonce tickets.
Yeah, exactly.
Again, I mean, like anything that he needs, society would probably just give him if he lost everything. Society would be like, you need food, right? Okay, here it is. Yeah, you're 92. We're not going to evict you. Whatever. Stuff like that, right? 100%. If you make it to 92, wherever you are, people are just like, just ride this out. Your status quo is probably so light that it's easier to just leave you alone, let you be. Dope.
Cool. Was that the end of it?
We did it. We did
nice.
it, buddy. We did it.
I feel like the first 4 answers were way longer, and then we had these last 3 which were pretty.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But we got we hammed it up a little bit, in between stuff, which is fine. You know what I mean? Yeah, you can go off on tangents. There's no rules.
No bonus round questions.
No bonus round questions at all. No bonus round questions. I'm trying to think if we did them all. We did all 7. Everyone, my guest this week has been Ari Shield. Well, this time. I don't know if it's this week.
Whenever it is.
Whenever it is.
Whatever week it is.
Whatever week it is. This time around, my guest has been Ari Shield. Thank you.
Of course. Go check out my podcast.
Yes, go check out Ari Shield's podcast. The name of it again.
It is called Say Good, Say Better. Available on all audio streaming platforms.
Nice.
Check out the episode with my man Joe Camerota.
I was on it.
You did. We did. Very long. It was an hour 40 minutes, I think.
Yeah. It's a long episode.
I think it's a top 10 in my discography.
Is it?
I think so.
Enough people listen to it to make it that.
Oh no, I meant length.
Oh, lengthwise. Got it.
No, in terms of actual listens, I have no idea. I need to check.